We began day 3 back at the Manhattan Social for fresh, delicious breakfast sandwiches and lattes. Then we went to the trailhead parking lot across the street at the site where the Greater Allegheny Passage ends and the C&O Canal begins.
Woo! Here we are.
Day 3.
Day 3. So not entirely all the way of cycling, but it's been good. It's been very scenic. It's been challenging. It's been just hot, yeah, very hot. But also just, good to be out there in the middle of nowhere sometimes and just enjoying it. So here we are in Cumberland, and from here on it now becomes the C&O Canal. In that direction it was the Greater Allegheny Passage, and now I'm about to head onto the C&O Canal. I'm heading to DC. Our next stopover tonight will be in Shepherdstown, so let's see how far I can get along this route. All right.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
The surface of the gap trail is flat and wide and really well maintained. In contrast, the C&O Canal towpath is much more rugged. There was a ton of mud to dodge, and I was especially thankful I chose my mountain bike for this trip when navigating the mud puddles. I actually enjoyed the broken up and more challenging terrain along the C&O Canal. It was a welcome change of scenery from the previous days on the gap, where the repetitive state of the beautiful forest played tricks on my mind, making it feel like I'd cycled further than in reality.
Built between 1828 and 1850, there are 75 locks spread out along the canal, which were used to control the amount of water entering the canal for the purpose of transporting long, narrow boats carrying goods like coal and lumber. Each lock is numbered along the path, providing the mind with something to grasp in terms of distance and achievement, as well as a visual break from the forest. As Wiehan began his bike ride for the day, I drove about 35 minutes from Cumberland, Maryland to Paw Paw, West Virginia. The town is named after the pawpaw tree, which, native to the U.S., produces a large tropical fruit similar to mangoes, but somehow lost its popularity over the centuries. It's a very small town, and I had a lot of difficulty finding the trail.
This is the Paw Paw Tunnel, one of the most notable and impressive structures along the C&O Canal, filled with history and intrigue. Built in the 1800s to bypass 6 miles of winding riverbanks, it stretches nearly a mile in length. If you're planning to cycle the C&O Canal yourself, be sure to pack a strong headlamp, as the tunnel is long, dark, and eerie. Bring a friend or two along as well for the ride. Kristen had a bumpy drive from Paw Paw to our next meetup point, a small town named Little Orleans. When we finally met up, it was 4 in the afternoon and we were desperate for a nice meal. The original plan was to keep cycling all the way to Shepherdstown, but I was ready to call it quits for the day.
We drove to a nearby tourist town called Berkeley Springs, where we had a nice late lunch and walked around. Named after the warm mineral springs that run through it, this is a great little place for a day trip, with quaint shops and cafes along the main street, as well as a public pool open in the summertime and fresh springs for wading. From Berkeley Springs, we drove off in a thunderstorm through beautiful rolling hills to our luxurious accommodation for the night, the Bavarian Inn. After unloading our bags, we put on our swimsuits and headed for the infinity pool overlooking the Potomac River. And now for just one last day of this bike trip.
Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.